Well, today the question is, isn't there a better way? And all in all, I think there's got to be a better way. What I want to know, is there a better way of controlling, would this be considered invasive vegetation? Is there a better way? Now granted, there's invasive species that need to be addressed, but what my concern is the potential of this type of, how would you say it, chemical spraying, Agent Orange or whatever. I think there's got to be a better way. Now, because this is in a waterway, I think there's a lot of other options that we have. Things could be considered best management practices. But one of the things that we have to our advantage is a book. And that book should have all the answers in it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at this book along with the Audubon Society, who we've contacted. They put a team together of Carrie, Val, and Steve. So we're going to get the skinny on this. One other thing I wanted to point out, actually I guess two things. Number one thing is this runs into our drinking water, Schuylkill River. Number two, it's along the bike path, and it could really be a beautiful asset to best management practices. The previous segment showed what one way of dealing with invasive species, and in order to have a frame of reference as to what invasive species do, is that they choke out everything else. They cover it and steal the light from it. Now, there's many different ways of addressing an invasive species. Here's another example. Another example. Far better than the first one. Well, this is another way of doing it. Good old, how would you say it? Elbow grease. And the next question is, what are we going to do with what we ripped out? I have a plan for that. Notice what we're trying to protect here, and that's the milkweed. They're native. They also, I believe, support the Monarch Butterfly. Alright, this is an update from last year's chem spill. And these are a patch of milkweed that has been protected from the chemical spraying. And as you can see, the height of them is from 4 to 5 feet high. The seed pods, which are clearly almost mature and quite large, indicating that this was a healthy patch of milkweed, and that it will propagate through runners, which also, along with the seed pods, propagate it, which is extremely important to the Monarch Butterfly, and that's a favorite thing of mine. Now we'll go over and look at the site where the spraying was to see if there's any remnants whatsoever of milkweed. Another condition is this invasive vine that has choked out all the native milkweed that was in this area. Alright, we're going to pause for a moment from the milkweed, and we're going to focus on the this invasive vine that seems to grow where the chemical spray was the year before. This whole entire area was covered by this pile, pretty much looking like that. There you have it, there it be. This stuff seems to be growing where the chemical spray was, and it is taken over everywhere. We'll go back to the original spray area to note that the milkweed was destroyed, never to return again. Here's the most recent chemical spray, and I believe you can tell that that bush is not going to get anywhere in the way of the power lines. Also, they're not doing anything about the poisonous vines. They're spraying this thing sticking out of there, but they didn't do anything about the poison ivy that is also growing all over the place. Well, there you have it, there it be. Chemical spraying, not a good thing. There's got to be another way. Here's a closer look of the area that was covered over, and some of the plants, the milkweed, were able to grow through it and still be productive, as you can see with the seed pods. So not all of it is destroyed, but yet this whole area had previously, the year before, had a lot of milkweed in it. So the other thing is this stuff will crawl up and get into the wires and then cause a problem with power outages. Here's a closer look at the chemical spraying this year, and luckily they didn't spray milkweed. There's some good seed pods there. Now this is a beech tree being totally overcome with this invasive vine. What concerns me is that these flowering bushes that don't get much bigger than that, they feed the honeybees for the winter. They're the last ones to flower. Well, anyhow, there you have it, there it be. It's a year later after the chemical spray, and in this area there was milkweed, and I don't see any remnants whatsoever of milkweed. So there's the long and short of it. Is there a better way? Now, this is a better way. This is a better way. And over here, we see what healthy milkweed looks like. No chemical spraying here. None whatsoever.
Haddon Park, West Norton Township.